Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Our football program coming off a loss to Appalachian State. It's looking forward to our second conference opponent in Louisiana Monroe at 7 o'clock, I believe Central down there on Saturday night. So, we've got to prepare and be ready to go for this bunch. We've got a new staff in there with Coach Bowden. They're 2-2 right now. They got one conference win, one conference loss under their belt, having defeated Troy and then lost to Coastal Carolina. A much improved football team and somebody that we've got to be playing our best to go in there and try to get our first conference win. And I think everybody in here knows that our non-conference slate, and then of course opening up with Appalachian State was a tough 5-game stretch for us. And we're certainly sitting here with 1-4 and not feeling very good about ourselves. And we've got a lot of improvements that we have to make on our football team, and we're looking to continue to do that. We've dug ourselves a hole. We certainly understand that as a football team, but we certainly can dig ourselves or climb right out of that hole we've dug. So, we still have to understand what lies ahead for us and keep our heads up. I tried to make sure we understood we cannot go out and have a pity party. You can't be feeling sorry for yourself because, everything that we've done thus far is on us. So we're moving forward with a positive attitude, looking to get better.
Appreciate it, Coach. At this time, we'll take questions from members of the media. As a friendly reminder, if you would keep yourself on mute until asking your question and then mute yourself again, we would appreciate it. Go ahead with questions for Coach.
How you doing, Coach? Always good to speak to you again.
How are you?
Awesome. So I know that last week was tough, but particularly especially in that first half, you guys had a few drives, especially when Quad was back in, where you guys were able to punch in for a touchdown. I don't think on either drive, and instead of going in and having a tie game being 14 all, it was 14-9. And I know you expressed concerns about that following the second half against Auburn. What have you guys done, especially in practice, like following that game, to make sure that you guys are on a roll offensively, and to make sure you guys don't waste those opportunities when they come to you, especially when you're playing a really competitive team like App State or Auburn, or down the line be your future conference opponents?
Well, we're continuing to build our offense to be successful at all. If you look down there at Auburn, we've got a couple touchdown passes, one to Thrash and then one to Roger Carter. And, it did, for whatever reason, it just didn't work this past weekend. They were well-defended plays. We're trying to run a triple option off a backside right there, and they do a really good job in defending that. It probably isn't just easy enough to hand the football off and go push it in there for the score. But sometimes it's well defended, and sometimes it just doesn't always work. I don't think it was a complete meltdown of the offense going into the red zone by any stretch, but we certainly have to do that. I'm a guy that likes touchdowns. I don't like field goals. I don't think you can win off kicking those field goals, especially when you get 2 or 3 under your belt. There's you just the separation starts to expand right there, and you just can't do those things. So we've got to be really, really good in the red zone. We have been for the most part. Under Coach Glenn and what we've been doing. So I think we're going to get back on track. We certainly will.
Hey, Coach. Marcel Petrucci, Sports Choir. Thanks for joining us. Good to speak with you again. You mentioned the offense. We have to talk about the quarterbacks. You've had time to evaluate Darren and Quad performances. What did you see from them, and where are you right now as far as the starting quarterback position between those two?
Yeah. We were able to see both of them play in a little bit of an action on Saturday. It didn't start out really well for Darren. I thought he made a really good throw on the second play of the game, and it gets picked off. And, those are plays that, we think we got a little bit better chance than 50-50 to come down with them with Sam right there. But Sam's just coming back from an injury, and they picked that thing off. And on our first play, there was kind of I wouldn't say a bad read, but it thrown into traffic as well. And we went one more series with Darren, and then we got Quad in there, and we felt like we could throw the football for whatever reason, just a little bit better with Quad in there at that time. And I don't think either played really great, to be honest with you. I don't think there was someone that came out and separated themselves between the two of them. I think we have to continue to push forward and find the guy. We gotta find out exactly what our strengths are offensively, and I think we're gonna have to look at that, and then we're gonna have to evaluate the quarterbacks and see what strengths they have to make us go offensively. Right now, we're struggling in the big plays. We're very limited in our downfield throws and things of that nature. So we've got to develop, a lot of areas to start getting back to where we are or where we would like to be as an offense. Both those guys are going to compete, but ultimately we're going to have to go with one of them.
Again, with the offense, it's the wide receiver group. It seems like more and more guys week after week are finding ways to make an impact. Whether, Taylor got the touchdown in late fourth quarter, Robert Lewis, I think, was the one who got that strip on the interception and ended up being gross state ball again. And Thrash has stepped up when Sam and Cornelius have been hurt. So it seems like when, the quarterback play, there's guys there that are ready to make plays.
Yeah, I think our wide receiver room is in good shape. It's just unfortunate that McCoy and Pinckney have really been banged up in the all camp, and then leading into these 4 games, we've really never been at full control in that room. But we do have younger receivers. Lewis, Talik catches that nice touchdown pass. I mean, you got guys. Thrash has done a marvelous job. We've got capable guys not in backup roles any longer. They're in full rotational roles, and they're only going to get better. And I'm very, very pleased with what Coach McKnight does in that room. And like I said, you'll see more people, emerge.
Hey, Coach, going back to the offense and talking about guys stepping up, you made changes the last few weeks to the running back room. We've seen Tucker Gregg perform really well. Talking about Jimmy Williams, he seems like he's really done well as he's gotten more production. Talk to me about like how proud of you are to see him kind of step up in these situations, especially when the offense is not where it needs to be at times.
Yeah, you're speaking of Jam, correct? Yes, Jemias? Yeah, I think Jam, when his time's called, he steps up. He really does. I think he averaged right at 5.1 yards per carry. He had a couple of big receptions out of the backfield, and he tends to make plays when the ball's in his hands. We've got a good running back room. I mean, if you look at our running back room, you got Jam, you got Tucker, you got Destin, you got Marcus Carroll. He's emerging as another back right in there. We've got a lot of backs, and sometimes that's really good. I mean, that's really, really good. But you have to be so unselfish to play in that position, knowing we have such good backs that can go in there and do it. I'm really proud of those guys. Sometimes it's about, you got to be patient, because, our game's called so quickly. It's you don't know what play's coming next because it's coming so quick. It's not a lot of foreshadowing going into it because we have to move with such quick tempo. But I'm really proud of him. I think he's kept his head up, and he's worked really hard. He wants what's best for our football team, and he's got a good attitude. He works hard, and I'm glad we have all those backs. All those backs at some point, whether it be this week, next week, they're all going to have a big, big say in our offense. I can't tell you each and every week exactly who's going to be the guy that steps up and has the big week. Tucker Gregg at Auburn, and then here you go. You got Jam getting I believe he got most of the carries on Saturday, other than Marcus Carroll there in the end. So it's just it's a wait and see. But we've got quality backs, and they're all unselfish.
Switching to the defensive side, they've obviously done a good job of keeping the team in games when the offense has been sputtering, but maybe one area where you might be looking for more is impact plays, turnovers, stuff like that. And, it's not as easy just saying we want to make more turnovers, but how do plays like that start to happen more and more on the defensive side? What has to happen?
I think we need some more interceptions. We've got to get the ball out of the air. I've seen that ball travel a little bit too much in the air, and it's hurt us on some big plays. We've got to do a good job, and I guess you would say tightening up our coverage and making some of those doggone turnovers in the back end. It's what we need to do. I think we can, at times get good pressure on the quarterback. I think our linebackers do a marvelous job. I mean, they're playing really good against the run and those guys up front. But we've all got to be better in the throw game, from putting pressure on those guys and giving our secondary defenders an opportunity to make those plays. It's not all that easy when they have a 7-man protection and we're sitting there, we're rushing as hard as we can. You can't get there when you rush 4. So they've got the numbers on that, and then that speed takes over and they run right by you. That's a tough thing to happen. So we've got to really, really be critical in the throw game. We've got to put pressure on the quarterback. We've got to get some errant throws. And we got to get some balls going back the other way.
Hey, Coach, it's Marcel again, Sports Inquirer. Looking at Monroe, they've had to play 4 quarterbacks this year due to injuries and other things. How tough is that evaluating them from an offensive end and trying to scout them out when you don't know what their personnel is going to be and what you're going to be up against?
I don't think it is. I mean, I think we know after watching their first 4 contests what they want to be offensively. So, no one likes to go through a situation where you got to play 4 quarterbacks. I think they went in there and Rodriguez was the guy, and then unfortunately he has the injury. And after that, it's kind of been a little struggle. But to tell you the truth, I think we're okay in knowing what they're going to try to do with those guys at quarterback.
Any other questions for Coach this week?
Yeah, I got one for you, Coach.
Okay.
We're looking at possibly seeing 2 quarterbacks again this week, for us. Do you set a time limit on how long you want to do that? And when's the last time you've been a part of a team that had that position shared?
I didn't say that. I didn't say you're going to possibly see 2 quarterbacks. I said we're going to compete, and I said ultimately we're going to have to decide who gives us the best chance to go with what we do best offensively. So okay. I don't think that's going to be. I'm not a guy. I don't think you can go play 2 quarterbacks and be real successful with a football team. I just certainly don't. I've been through it a little bit, but I think you have to go with the guy, and you have to go with it, unless it's just. He's just playing so poorly. You've got to make a change. You just got to. We got to make that decision. It's going to be made this week, and we're going to go with it.